here to actually provide all the support to develop students to become a confident graduate that is needed by the industry. Please feel welcome to visit us to see how we do our transformation of students.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to our financial management webinar. So before I invite the speaker, let me introduce myself and my group member. My name is Zhihong, student from Segi College Penang, and also I will be the moderator for today's event. Next, I will introduce my group member. First is Jason Zhong.
Hello guys, I'm Jason.
Next is Surya.
Hello guys, I'm Surya.
Next is Hari.
Hi everyone.
Okay, next is Rahimi.
Hi guys.
And last is YH Lee.
Good afternoon guys, I'm YH Lee here.
Okay, so thank you for tuning in with us. And as you can see, there is a registration link in the comment section. Please kindly do register yourself because we have the Kahoot games after Q&A section. Please stay tuned to the end of the Q&A. And we will giving out 10 mystery gifts for top 10 Kahoot games winners. So if you haven't registered and want to win the gift, please register now. Thank you. And for those who not in the register form, also can join for fun in the Kahoot game. If you are the top 10 winners but the name is not in the register form, I'm sorry, you cannot win the gift. So is everybody clear? So if you clear, can you reply a clear word? Everyone clear? So if you want to win the gift, you can register now. Okay, thank you for your reply. So as today we are going to collab with AKPK speaker and discuss about financial management, we are proud to invite our speaker who is credit counselor from our AKPK Malaysia. Let's welcome Mr. Cheong Puck Kin.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Mr. Cheong. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Zhihong.
Yeah, so can you please briefly introduce yourself?
Okay. Okay, let me go to my second slide. My full name is Cheong Puck Kin. Actually, I'm a credit counselor, or nowadays we term ourselves as financial advisor, attached with AKPK. Actually, AKPK is an abbreviation for Agency Counseling dan Pengurusan Kredit. Okay, I have been with this AKPK since 2006, which I will consider myself as one of the pioneer batch for this AKPK. And AKPK is actually an agency of Bank Negara Malaysia. Prior to attach to this AKPK, I have worked as a senior exec with a local bank for almost 10 years. And prior to that, I have actually lectured before for 1-2 years after my graduation. And this is my email address. I read to you my email address is at pkcheong@akpk.org.my, because I believe that the reason that I put down my email address is I believe that some of you may not have the opportunity to ask question, or maybe due to the tight time frame, or maybe some of you may be too embarrassed to ask in front of everybody, in front of every one of your co-student here. So that's the reason why I put down my email address here. So the topic that I will be bringing is Reach for the Stars. Everyone can see that? Reach for the Star? You all can hear me, right? You can hear me? I can hear your keyboard. And these are the contents that I will be touching today. It's on cash flow management, borrowing basic, investment, and also debt management. Okay, every one of us, I will consider as who are alive, we have our financial goal. Some of this goal is long term, and some of this goal is considered to be medium term, and even some is for a very short term goal. Let me just give you an example. Let's say, for example, you decide that 1 year after you have graduated that you intend to buy a car, okay? Or maybe you are saying that after you have graduated, you want to work for another 2-3 years or 3-5 years, then you want to continue your study for the master level or subsequently to a PhD level. That is maybe is considered as a medium term. And maybe some of you will say that, okay, after I have graduated within 7 years, I wish to buy a condo. So this is all your financial goal. But remember, when you talk about your financial goal, whether it's for buying a house, buying a car, going for a holiday, continue your studies, or maybe you want to start your own business, every one of your goal involve what? Involve money, right? So in order for you to achieve your goals, it is very important, or I would say that it is exceptionally important for you to have a good financial management skill. Okay. So let me start off with let me start my talk with the introduction to this AKPK first. Like what I have mentioned just now, AKPK is established by Bank Negara Malaysia on 17th of April 2006 as part of Bank Negara Malaysia Financial Sector Plan for 10 years. Actually, our mission is to empower the household community and small and medium enterprise to have a strong financial level through education, financial advisory service, and customer-focused credit management services. So in short, in AKPK, we have 3 main services. One is debt management, the second type is financial counseling, and the third type is financial education. So if any one of you who are having friends who told you that about them enrolling for AKPK program, what they are trying to tell you is they are referring to our first service, which is debt management program. So I will explain shortly what is all these 3 services provided by AKPK. And also, please remember that AKPK never appoint any agent, because we have seen that recently there is a lot of people impersonate as AKPK agent and then collect money from our customers. But do remember this, AKPK, we never appoint any agent. If you wish to deal with AKPK, you can call us directly. You can call us directly. Just go to the website there. You just Google. If you are in Penang, then you Google AKPK Penang. If you are in Alor, you can Google AKPK Kedah. Because we have nearly in whole Malaysia, we have branches, except 2 states that we don't have any AKPK branches. One is in Perlis and the other one is in Negeri Sembilan. Okay, let me start with what we actually do for our financial education. For financial education, we often organize talk and briefing during before the COVID time. We will normally organize talk and briefing and then give this personal financial management module according to the age group, because we have segregate into higher education, workplace, family, and retirement. That means for all of this age group, we will have different type of talks. And then on top of it, for our financial education, we also collaborate with various agencies, whether it's a government agency, it's a private sector, it's a GLC, or even an NGO. The reason is that we wish to increase the level of financial literacy among Malaysians. Okay. On top of it, what we also do in our financial education is that you can, if you are interested to know more about financial management or matters relating to finance, such as buying a house, having a children, buying a car, you can actually even go to our online learning portal. Okay, the website address is power.akpk.org.my. And for your information, this so-called online learning portal is roughly around, it will take out around your time, around 10 to 15 minutes time. And at the end of the module, you will be awarded with a certificate of completion. Because initially when you register to enroll for this particular online portal, they will require you to provide your name. They will require you to provide your email address. So upon you finish completing this online learning portal, then they will send you a PDF form of certificate to certify that you have completed this series. And on top of it also, for our financial education, we have published 2 types of books. One is Money Sense, which is printed in 3 languages, English, Malay, and Chinese. And then we have this so-called Power Book. Power Book is actually in 4 languages. It's in Malay, English, Chinese, and also in Tamil. So normally for students, we would encourage you all to buy this book for powers, because in this power book, actually we touch a lot of things such as like preparation for your budget, how you manage your debts. If you intend to use a credit card, what are the things to look out for? If you intend to buy the car, what are the things to look out for? And if you intend to buy the house, what are the financial and non-financial factors that you can look out for? It is actually clearly touched in this power book. It's written actually in a simple language lah. You can easily understand. We don't use technical terms for the book. On top of it, for financial education, from time to time, you can always see AKPK appearing in the local newspaper and also in the media, especially for business matters. We are always there. You can always see our representative talking over the media regarding this AKPK and how AKPK debt management program can help a lot of people, especially during now COVID time, whereby a lot of people lose their job or have their level of income reduced. So this AKPK debt management program will be a great help to those people. And then we are also in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube in social media. So for those of you who like to follow closely with the latest development in AKPK, you can always go and register for the Facebook. And then from YouTube, there's also a lot of videos for you to actually see. This video is locally produced by AKPK. Okay. In addition to our financial education, the second services provided by us is what we call as financial advisory services. Because under this financial advisory service, what we actually do is that when AKPK customers come to see us, what we will do is that we will actually study what they wrote in their budget. And then we will actually ask them what do they want to ask us about, whether is it they want to buy a house, they want to buy a car, or whether the budget that they are having now is okay or not okay. Then we will give our opinion accordingly, and then our client get to choose whether they want to follow our opinion or not. And then on top of it, nowadays we also have this financial advisory for SME. SME stand for small medium enterprise. And this so-called SME help desk, actually we only started recently in November 2020. Because prior to this, for anything relating to SME, it is dealt by our big brother I would say, which is Bank Negara Malaysia. But starting in November 2020, we have set up this so-called SME help desk within the AKPK itself. Okay, so this is the requirement, the help for the help desk. Normally they will provide this free advice on repayment assistance and also to assist micro entrepreneurs to submit repayment application to the relevant banks. Okay, so what actually happened is this: under this SME help desk, if let's say that particular company of SME having trouble to repay back their loans, whether be it a business loan or overdraft or whatever, then SME can actually help them to negotiate with the bank. This is for our SME help desk. Okay, this is the most, I would say this is the most famous services provided by the AKPK. It is called Debt Management Program, or in Malay we call it as Program Pengurusan Kredit. What we actually do under Debt Management Program is that we actually help those individual customers or even those sole proprietor customers who are having difficulty to repay back their banks. Whether it's their credit cards, it's their personal loan, it's their house loan, it's their car loan, it's their microcredit, or even it's their PTPTN loan. So what we do is that we will see how much that the person is owing, and then we will see how much is that person earning. And then after that, we will do a computation. If we restructure the loan, how much do the customer has to pay. And we will always try to suit the repayment amount to the borrower's cash flow, okay, which means his or her income actually. Okay, so in order to apply for this AKPK, this is the address for the debt management program is edmp.akpk.org.my, okay, to actually to apply for this program. As for the SDRS scheme, is actually restructuring for SME loans with the bank. This is the address. Okay, this is the condition they set for this SDRS, or we call it as Small Debt Resolution Scheme. It is meant to provide assistance to SME that faces difficulty in repaying their existing business loan, or where the application for the repayment assistance is either rejected by their bank. It means what, the SME is having problem to repay back their debts, and then when they come to AKPK, their application to restructure the loan was rejected by the bank. So actually they can come to AKPK. We can help them to resubmit, or the application was approved by the bank, but the repayment terms is unfavorable. So the SME may have problem to pay back their this so-called business loan. So they can also come to AKPK for this SDRS. Okay. Just now I have mentioned, in order for you to achieve your financial goals, you need to have good financial management skill. So when you're talking about good financial management skills, the first thing that comes to your mind is what? Is your cash flow management. You have to agree, right? When you talk about financial, you will have to talk about cash flow. Okay. So let us understand better what is actually this so-called cash flow management all about. Because it is very simple only. Cash flow management actually consists of two components. One is income and one is expenses. So when you actually talk about income, an individual itself actually have two types of income. One is active income, the other one is passive income. So when you talk about active income, it means what? It means that the income that you get from working, whether it's a full-time, it's a part-time, or even you're doing your own business. So every month, based on the salary that you receive, or based on the sales that you get from your own business, that is considered to be active income. And then you also have another type is called passive income. Passive income means what? You do not have to work for your money, such as, let's say for example, you use your money to buy shares, or you use your money to deposit in banks under fixed deposit. So what happened is that your investment will bring you return. So this return is what we call as passive income. Okay. As for expenses, it is divided further into three types of expenses in general. First type is what we call as fixed expenses. Fixed expenses means every month the amount of money that you need to pay is the same, such as your housing loan, your car loan, your motorcycle loan, these kind of things. And then we have the second type is what we call as variable expenses. Variable expenses means the amount that you use every month will go up and down depending on the quantum of usage, such as your handphone bills, such as your groceries, such as your food. Because for example, your food, you don't every month eat the same amount. Like let's say for example, every month you need 600 ringgit for food. It's not that every month you will eat this 600. Maybe certain months you will only spend 500, or maybe certain months you will spend up to 800, depending on that particular month, whether there is a special occasion or not. And then finally, the last types of expenses is what we call as discretionary expenses. Discretionary expenses, for me, I will actually term it as the type of expenses which will bring you happiness, but in a very short time, but only in a very short period of time. For example, your discretionary expenses, it can be in the form of going for a holiday, going for shopping, maybe going to the cinema, or going for the karaoke, these kind of things. This is what we call as discretionary expenses, or even buying branded things. So if really you compare for cash flow management, that is income and expenses, most of the time when we actually ask, what is the reason for you having financial problems? A lot of people will often say that it is because of due to my income is insufficient. That's why I'm having problem. But the answer is no. The real reason for you having financial problem is you are unable to control your expenses. It's very simple only, because I do have many experience seeing those people like earning 1 month 20-30,000, no savings at all. While another category of people, 1 month is only getting around 1,500 to 2,000, but they have plenty of savings. Why? A person with 25 to 30,000, no saving, while a person with only 1,500 to 2,000 income have saving. The reason is they have good financial management skill and they are disciplined. That's why they have savings as compared to the other person who is earning a lot. Okay, so when you talk about cash flow management, the first thing that should strike your mind is the term budget. I'm sure that most of you know what is budget, right? Because budget is actually a very useful tool to manage all your expenses or commitment on living with a limited income. Okay? When you talk about budget, it's very simple only. Because people will often say, when you do budget, normally you do it at the end of the month. You project for how much you will be getting for next month and how much you will be spending for next month, right? So a lot of people always feel that budget, even though it's important, but it is very lecture to do it because it involves a lot of work. So let me just show you this budget, or let me just quote you a story. I still remember this story when I go to one of the factory in Bayang Lepas to give talk. I still remember I told all the audience saying that budget is very important and you need to write down your budget. There's someone who suddenly put up his hand and volunteer, and he told me this. He said, Mr. Cheong, actually for budget, we need not write. So I was also quite surprised, I was also quite surprised. Then I asked him, okay, can you remember how much you actually spend for your food for the month of June 2020? You know what happened? The person who put up his hands immediately tell me, Mr. Cheong, my spending for food in June 2020 is 600 ringgit. So it's very impressive, right? Because when I asked him this thing, it's somewhere around September 2020. It's somewhere around September 2020. So when he tell me that in June 2020, he still remember he spent 600, in my mind itself, I was thinking, wow. I was thinking myself, I say, wow, this guy really has a fantastic mind. He can remember how much he spent for food, even though it's already 3 months apart. Because I asked him, it's in the month of June. So I go over to that person. Then I just ask him this question. Okay, I just asked him this simple question. I asked him, actually, how can you train your mind to be so powerful that you can remember how much you actually spend for your food in June? You know what the guy told me? He told me this. He said that, you see, Mr. Cheong, every day for my breakfast, for my lunch, for my dinner, the amount of money that I use is 20 ringgit. So for the month of June, that is 30 days. So I will use this 20 ringgit times 30 days. It means what? 600, right? So that's how I get my figure 600 instead of using your way of having to jot down everything. So now I finally understand why do he say that he don't need to write down his budget. So I just asked him one simple question, I asked him, okay, how many days are you actually working for 1 week lah? Actually, you're working for 1 week. He told me that it's around 5 days. So normally for Saturday and Sunday, he is off. That means no need to go to work lah. Then I asked him, what do you actually do in Saturday and Sunday? Do you stay at home for 24 hours? You don't go out to anywhere. Then he said, what, He told me, Mr. Cheong, my house doesn't have any aircon. So what I do is that, especially Saturday and Sunday when I'm not working, I will bring along my girlfriend, go to Gurney Plaza or even go to this one Queen's Bay. And then he qualified himself by saying that I do not buy things, I just go there window shopping only, Then the reason I go there is actually to enjoy the free aircon. Then I asked him back one question. I said that, oh, you go there for only short period of time, right? Then he said, no, I go there for quite many hours or so. Then I asked him that lah. I asked him, okay, if you go to the shopping complex during lunchtime, do you actually go out from the complex, go back to your house to take your lunch, then only go back and then come back to the complex? He said, no, I don't do that. Because if I do that, my parking will be rugi lah. The moment I leave the car park, if I enter again, I need to pay for another time already. So what happened is that I will always take my meal, especially Saturday and Sunday, in the mall, you know. Then I just trigger him lah. I trigger him. I say that, okay, you take your lunch in the mall. So I believe that most of the time you will take those things like fast food lah, maybe KFC, McDonald's, or maybe even Nando's. So do you think that a person together with the girlfriend and also two friends, whenever he goes into Nando's or what, just to have a meal, whether it's a lunch or a dinner, 20 ringgit is sufficient or not? Definitely it's insufficient, right? Even you take McDonald's also, I don't think 20 ringgit is sufficient for 4 person, you know. So what actually happened is that if you don't write down your budget, it means what, you know? It means that you will make wrong financial decision because you are thinking that you are only using 20 ringgit per day. While in fact, if you are eating in the mall itself, a meal itself, you know, not inclusive of your dinner, not inclusive of your breakfast, already exceeded 20 ringgit. So when the amount is already exceeded, it means what? The subsequent financial decision that you are going to make will be wrong. Let me just show you an example. Okay, if you notice my sample of cash flow statement, you can see the wording budget, and you also can see the wording actual. If you notice, if you notice that in the budget, the total balance at the bottom, blue in color, you can see is a positive 155, right? But if you look at the other column, which is on my right hand side, the actual column, it's a negative 145. So what do this tell you? Based on your budget is actually have a surplus balance, you know. But the actual cash flow, that means the actual money coming in, going out from your pocket, is actually negative 145. It means that you have a deficit budget. So when you have a deficit budget, that is the time when you will borrow money, whether it's from your relative, from your friends, or even from your credit cards, or even from a personal loan. So that's why I said that when you actually do your budget, please add another column right to your budget so that you can actually see what is your actual cash flow. Is it surplus or is it deficit? If it's surplus, good and fine. But if it's negative or deficit, it means what, you know? You have to identify the category of spending that you need to reduce so that the bottom line become positive instead of negative. Okay, these are the 4 methods that you can use actually to record your budget or your so-called actual cash flow statement. For some, they say that you can use apps, you can use calendar, you can use Excel, or you can use even a buku 35 the notebook where people in the old days used to use this notebook 35. Because what you can always just put in your pocket or even put in your handbag. Whenever you spend money, you just jot down only. So when you just jot down at the end of the month, you just accumulate up. Okay, your food and grocery is how much, your entertainment is how much, your utility bills is how much, your children expenses is how much. Everything you can group up. Then only you do the cash flow statement like my slides before this. Okay, this is what we AKPK actually propose for you to have If it's possible, save at least 10% of your income. And then for your payment of your housing loan and also for your this so-called other loans, please do not exceed 45%. And then for your insurance, 5%, for your transportation, 5%, and for your utility bills, 10%. And then for your food and the groceries, maybe around 25%. This is what we propose for a prudent financial management percentage in your spending. So, as I'm saying, everybody knows that budget is very important, but most of the people are reluctant to do this budgeting. It is something same like exercise. Everybody knows that exercise is very important, but if you were to ask an working adult, how many days have you exercised in a week? I can tell you, most of them will only smile back to you when you ask them this question. Why? The reason is they know it's important, but they refuse to do it, or they will always give reason like no time to do it, or my house very far away. So many various kind of excuses are. But for the purpose of good financial management, you still need to have budgeting. Because what is the benefit? Because if you have budget, it means what? It helps you to live within your means. And number two, it actually helps you to cultivate a saving habits. Because by having the budget in one column and then the other column you have a cash flow statement, actual cash flow statement, you can actually see every month your budget, is it a surplus or deficit? If let's say for the past 6 months, every month also your budget is deficit, it means that you will feel worried. Why? Because one day you might want to buy a car, you might want to buy a house, you might want to get married, you might want to go for overseas traveling. So all these things requires money. So if every month you cannot even save, it means what? All your those so-called goals will remain as dreams only lah, angan-angan only lah, dreaming only. You cannot actually achieve it lah. And number three, the benefit of having a budget is that it actually save for your financial emergencies, because you will not know what will happen the next day. Okay, we are only human. We cannot determine what will happen to you the next day. So we need to save for financial emergencies. And then number four, the benefit of having a budget is that it is able to help to enhance your net worth. So what do I actually mean by enhance your net worth? Let me just show you an example. Okay, so everyone have a net worth. Whether you are a student or whether you are a working adult or whether you are retired, you have a net worth statement. So what is your net worth statement? Your net worth statement means the difference between your asset, that means what you own, minus of your liability, that means what you are owing. So you see, in this case, you will be able to see that this person net worth is negative 37,650 ringgit. So it means what? It means what? It means if even you have house, even you have car, even you have land, but your net worth is still negative, that means you owe more than you actually have, Let me just show you this screen. You see, if your asset is more than your liability, that means you are on the right track. But if your liability is more than your asset, very sorry, you are in the wrong track. So if you are in the wrong track, what actually happens? You will need to take corrective action. Because a lot of people, they tend to have negative net worth, but they refuse to take any corrective action. Because why? If you take corrective action, means that you need to reduce your spending. So when you reduce your spending, that means instead of going to the Starbucks to have a cup of coffee, maybe you will need to go to Kedai Mama or coffee shop to buy only a packet of coffee only. So a lot of people refuse to change. So when they refuse to change, ultimately their net worth will become negative, and the amount in negative will get higher and higher. Eventually one day, then you will get into trouble. Okay. Do all of you think that saving is important? I'm sure a lot of you will say that saving is very important. Then when I normally ask why saving is important, then you all will say that, okay, saving is important because my parents told me so, my teacher told me so, and when I go to the college or university, my lecturer told me so. No, you have to know why savings is important. Like what I have mentioned just now, every one of us have a financial goal, be it buying a house, buying a car, going for holiday, marriage, starting a business or whatever. So that's why you need to know by yourself why saving is important. And normally in savings, we notice a lot of people always give the comment or always complain saying that nowadays our living cost is extremely high. Therefore, I don't have money to save. So actually, at the end of the month, most of these people, they will say that my net balance at the end is either kosong or negative, because I would say that the method that they use for saving is when they get their salary, what they do is that they will pay for this and that. pay for their loans, pay for their entertainment, pay for their groceries, pay for their utility, pay for their children. So at the end of the month, if you notice, if you practice such method, at the bottom, you will see a zero or a very big negative deficit amount. So this is the wrong method. For me, the best method is what? Pay yourself first. How to pay yourself first? It's very easy only. Let's say, for example, you're working. Normally, your employer will not give you cash. So what they will do is that they will credit your salary into your saving accounts. So what you should do is that, let's say, assuming that your payroll account is Bank A. So what you should actually do is that you should give a standing instruction to Bank A. You tell them that on every 30th of the month or on every 25th of the month, please transfer 5 to 10% of my salary into a saving account in Bank B. But you have to make sure that your saving accounts in Bank B doesn't come with internet banking, doesn't come with ATM card, or doesn't come with debit card. And the best is make sure that you open your saving accounts in Bank B under joint name, whereby for any withdrawal involved, both the account opener or the account owner will need to go to the bank branch to sign, and make sure that the bank you select is very limited in terms of branches. Make sure that it is not located in a shopping center. Why do I tell you that? Because normally during the weekend, especially Saturday, Sunday, there will be a lot of promotions asking you to go to their shop to buy things. Especially during non-COVID time During COVID time, then is a bit different During non-COVID time, normally you have this year-end sales, you have this fire sales, you have this Tauke run away sales. Then they will persuade you to actually go to buy things. So what happened if, let's say, that you were to see those things that all this while that you like, and then suddenly there is a 10 or 20% discount, then immediately what you will use your money to buy. So if your money is easily withdrawn, that means what? Even though you transfer your money to account B, then you take out the money from account B, at the end, your savings is not increasing. In fact, it's reducing. So that's why we always say pay yourself first. Then number two, like what I have mentioned just now, you need to motivate yourself with a financial goal. That means you need to know why you are saving so hard. Because you know that in one day, you will need to maybe buy a house, buy a car, you're going to retire, or you're going to pay for your children's education, okay? Or maybe even you want to start your own business, you also need money, right? Then number three, always make savings a challenge. What do I mean by this? If let's say, when you have graduated from your studies, you can maybe start off with a lower amount, maybe a 3% or a 5% of your salary to be transferred into your account B. But make sure that percentage is gradually increased. Maybe after 2 years, 3 years, from 3% you increase to 5%, 5 to 7, 7 to 10, 10 to 12. Okay? So by doing this, at the end when you are near your retirement, then you will see that in that particular savings account, you will have a lot of money. So that's why we say make savings a challenge. And number 4 is always put away your surprises. Because I notice what, especially when our economic is enduring good times, companies often will declare the bonuses, especially in the year end. And I noticed there is being a trend among Malaysians, when they know that their company is going to pay them bonus, even the money is not credited into the saving accounts, they have already do a planning, planning on what? Planning on how to spend the money. It's not that I'm asking you to keep your bonuses 100% in the B saving accounts. What I'm suggesting you that maybe you can spend 70% of your bonuses to reward yourself for working so hard, and then the balance of 30% you can actually keep in your saving accounts in Bank B. So that's why I say always put away your surprises. Okay. So now that we know that saving is important, so do you think that borrowing is important as well? Do you feel that borrowing is important or not? Because the question now is to borrow or not to borrow. Because you see, nowadays, is different from the old days, whereby if let's say you are staying in Penang, you intend to buy a house in Penang. Do you think that the house is cheap or not? definitely it's very expensive, right? So we don't actually pay cash for your car. We don't actually pay cash for your house, Most of the time, if you want to buy this so-called big ticket items, you will actually need to get a loan from the bank. Okay, you will actually need to get a loan from the bank. So what types of loan that is available to individuals? Because for individuals, there are two types of loan. One is what we call as secured loan. The other type is what we call as unsecured loan. Secured loan means what, Secured loan means the borrower will pledge some asset as collateral to the bank for their loan. Let's say for housing loan, the collateral itself is the house itself. Then for your hire purchase, which means your car loan, the collateral is your car. But as for unsecured loan, it means what? Unsecured loan is in the forms of credit card, charge card, microcredit, educational loan, personal loan. Okay? So for this unsecured loan, what actually happens is that the borrower does not provide any collateral to the bank. Therefore, if you are the bank, which type of loan do you think that you will charge higher? Is it secured loan or unsecured loan? And normally the answer that I get is for secured loan. But the actual answer is unsecured loan. Why? Because if you notice, normally if you ask around in the market for your hire purchase, the interest rate does not exceed 4%. It's normally around 2 to 3 only. And for your housing loan, it is also less than 5% one. But if you look at your unsecured loan, you notice for your credit card itself, it will cost you 18% per annum. And for your personal loan, if you look at the effective interest rate, it can cost more than 20%. Why is that? The reason is that when the bank provide you with unsecured loan, but they do not have any collateral to hold on to. So when they do not have any collateral to hold on to, what actually happened? In order to mitigate their risk, that means to reduce their risk, they have to charge you more expensive because they are also afraid that one day you might not pay right? So they want to get your interest more. So that's why normally for unsecured loan, it is more expensive as compared to your secured loan. So my advice to all of you is that if it's possible, try to avoid taking unsecured loan unless it is for productive purposes only. Okay? Try to avoid taking unsecured loan. So these are the rules of borrowing I want you all to understand fully. First thing, when you want to borrow money, the first thing is that make sure that you borrow for the productive purpose. So what do I actually mean by productive purpose? Let's say, for example, you borrow to further your study. Is it considered productive? I'm sure in your heart you already have the answer. As compared to you borrow to go for a holiday in Disney. So, do you think that it's productive? Because I notice a lot of people borrow for the purpose to modify their car, to modify their motor. So, do you think that it's productive? And then number two, the rules of borrowing is that when you borrow money, please make sure that it is within your means to pay. It means what? What I'm trying to say is that when you go to a bank, let's say intending to take a personal loan for 10,000, and upon scrutinized by the bank officer, suddenly the bank officer come and tell you, he say, Mr. Cheong, I can give you more than 10,000. Actually, based on your qualification and based on your income, I can actually give you up to 50,000. So, my question to you, would you take the 50,000 or would you just take 10,000? Because the bank officer will keep on persuading you to take 50,000 because the bank officer itself also have a quota for his KPI. So if when he persuade you, he will say that never mind lah, you take 50,000. So at least 40,000 you can put it as emergency in case if you were to really know it. So that's why, and you have to remember.
Sorry for interrupt.
Okay.
After you finish this slide, we have the 5 minutes break.
Okay, can. So
Okay,
that's why I always say when you say that pay within your means that if you take a 10,000 loan as compared to 50,000 loan, the 10,000 loan will only require to pay a lower installment compared to 50,000. So if you are having difficulty to pay the 50,000 monthly installment, So please just maintain the 10,000. And number three, you have a moral commitment to pay. The meaning of this means that when you take a loan from the bank, always remember, bank is not charity organization. If you do not pay back your loans, then the bank will be able to make your life very difficult. Huh? So, okay, now it's 2:45, right? So I will break for 5 minutes and then we will continue back. And Zilong, maybe you can prompt me when the time comes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Please take a break first.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Cheong, for sharing so far. Okay, guys, we have 5 minutes break, and after that, we will back to continue the section. If you have any question want to ask Mr. Cheong, you can start to drop your question in the comment section below, and we will pick up some of the question, and Mr. Cheong will answer it at the Q&A section. Okay, so before the next section start, please do me a favor by clicking the link in the comment section below and fill up the feedback form. You can also start to fill during the break time. So for the register form, we will close during the break time. So thank you and have your 5 minutes break.
We are here to actually provide all the support to develop students to become a confident graduate that is needed by the industry. Please feel welcome to visit us to see how we do our transformation of students.
Welcome back to our talk. Next, we will continue our session. Mr. Cheong, are you there? Hi, Mr. Cheong.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's continue our slides. Okay, what I will be introducing to you here is this debt to income ratio. It is very important for all of you to know this because these are the formulas that is normally used by all the banks in Malaysia when they decide that whether you qualified or you do not qualify for your loan application. So the formula for this so-called debt to income ratio is to use your monthly installment that you are paying currently for your facilities, and then you divide by your net income. When I mention net income, it means that your gross income minus off your EPF, your SOCSO, your income tax. So in short, the net income is your take-home pay, and then times 100%. The basic rules is that if the ratio more than 40%, the chances of you getting a fresh loan is low. But if let's say that the ratio is less than 40%, the chances of you getting a new loan is high. So this is actually what is all about debt to income ratio. And we always, in AKPK, we always encourage you to have your debt income ratio not exceeding 40%. That is our advice to you. Okay. Maybe some of you are wondering, but maybe some of you have heard of the terms before, CCRIS and also CTOS. So what is actually CCRIS or CTOS? Normally for a bank, before they are able to grant you a fresh loan, what they actually will refer to is your credit report. Your credit report normally comes in two forms. One is CCRIS. CCRIS is under Bank Negara. The other type is CTOS. CTOS is under private sector. So there are differences between CCRIS and CTOS, which I will inform you all later. So this is what if you nowadays, due to this COVID pandemic, all our Bank Negara branches and all our AKPK branches, we are close. We are close to the public. So previously, before the COVID time, whenever a person likes to view its CCRIS report, they just need to come to Bank Negara or to AKPK branch office to print out their CCRIS. But nowadays, due to this COVID, then we have started this what we call as online credit checking, or we call it as e-CCRIS. We call it as e-CCRIS. This is where you actually can register to view your CCRIS report. So for students, I don't think that you all have any loans with the bank yet. So most probably if you print out your CCRIS, you won't be able to see anything. It will be a nil report for the time being. So this is an actual CCRIS report when printed out. I have actually left out the name and the IC number at the top. So if you notice, this is the CCRIS. Okay, if you happens to notice, on my left hand side, if you see that there is one HL Bank which I circle in blue, then if you notice, ansoran tunggakan sepanjang 12 bulan yang lalu, you can see the figure 0, 1, 2, 3. Do you know how to interpret that? Let me just give you an example. If you look at this HL Bank which I have circled blue in color, it means that this particular person, Hong Leong Bank credit card, in the month of August 2014, he has a month in arrears of 2 months. That means he has not been paying for 2 months. So if 3 means that he has not been paying for 3 months, 0 means the payment is up to date, no arrears. So normally for bank, what they will do is that the first thing they print out your CCRIS, they will want to see at how is your payment performance. That means whether it's all 0, or 1, or 2, or 3, or what. So if they happens to know any one of your bank in the CCRIS have a repayment track record of 3 and above, that means 4, 5, 6 up to 999, most probably your loan will be rejected. Because if 3 means that your particular account for that bank is already 3 months in arrears, you are not paying. Okay, that is the first criteria they will. That is the first criteria they will consider. The second criteria they will consider, if you notice, underneath the Hong Leong Bank which I have circled blue, you can see the wording, account di bawah pemerhatian khas. Okay, what is that? In English, we call it as special attention account. So what happened is that if a person prints out its secrets report and notice that there are several banks down there, it means what? It means that the person name has considered to be blacklisted by bank. So your next question, I believe you will ask, why do the account falls under special attention account? The reason is this account that falls under special attention account is actually from the top. Okay, it's actually from the top. So when the bank actually write off your account, that particular facility will falls under account di bawah pemerhatian khas. So if you have, when you print out your secrets, if you have any account listed under special attention account, definitely your application for that particular loan will be rejected by the bank, because the bank will feel that you have very bad payment track record, or you are bad in paying back the banks. Okay. Now, let's say this is an example I show you. Special attention account, same like the report, same like just now. Normally in your secrets report, if you notice at the top, normally if you have your name, your IC number, if you have an OIC number, if it appears under ID number 2 at the top there. And then if you happen to notice for this person, he has a Citibank other term loan which is under special attention account. So if this particular person were to go to bank requesting to have a new loan, most probably his application will be rejected by the bank. Okay. Just now, you still remember I show you this one? There is a secrets and CTOS, right? So what is this actually CTOS all about? In secrets itself, the information that is kept there consists of commercial bank, such as like commercial banks I'm saying is that such as your Maybank, Public Bank, RHB, Standard Chartered, HSBC, and then it also consists of your developmental financial institutions such as your Bank Rakyat, Agrobank, Bank Simpan Nasional. Okay, if MBSB and also Eon Credit is listed under secrets, but if let's say for example, you take let's say for example that you buy furnitures from Singer, or maybe you buy furniture from Courts Mammoth, or maybe you take your motorcycle loan from a credit company. All this record will not exist in secrets, because secrets is meant for bank and insurance company only. So if you have those non-bank loans, like with Singer, with Courts Mammoth, or even you have not paid very long time for your telecommunication bills, such as your Maxis or DG bills, all this record will be captured under CTOS. Okay. On top of it, CTOS also have those loans which you have taken from the banks. So normally for the bank, they will check two types of report your credit report. One is your secrets to check your bank borrowing whether it's promptly paid, and number two is that they will also check your CTOS. And this CTOS itself, if you're having business and you're doing business with other people for your supplier, if let's say you do not pay for your supplier and your supplier take legal action against you, it will be recorded in the CTOS. So if let's say that your secrets you are able to pass, but you fail in your CTOS, the bank will also not loan you any money. So that's why it is always prudent to take care of your secrets as well as your CTOS. And let me just show you. For CTOS, they have a 3-digit number scoring. If your scoring is from 697 to 744, the chances of you getting a new loan is very good. But if your CTOS is from 529 until no score, I can tell you, most probably your loan application will downright rejected by the bank. So you always have to make sure this so-called good CTOS score in order for you to secure a loan. Especially next time when you have graduated from your study, maybe you want to buy a car, what the bank will do is that they will check your secrets together with your CTOS, especially if you have those so-called PTPTN loan. Because for your information, this PTPTN loan nowadays, they also place in the secret report. So if you do not pay for your PTPTN loan, what will actually happen is that you cannot even get a single loan from the bank. So please pay your PTPTN loan. Okay, and this is the determining factors for the CITOS. That means they will actually, in the CITOS itself, they will give you the score, right? So how do CITOS get their score? 35% comes from your payment history. That means they will look at your your payment track record from January to December. How is your payment track record? Number 2, how much you're owing. Is it based on your salary so and so, compare with the amount that you're owing to the bank so and so. So they will that will constitute almost 30%. And then they will see your credit history length. Credit history length means that how long you have took the loan already. And then number 4 is a credit mix. Credit mix means that in your secrets itself, how many types of loan do you have? Maybe in there you have 5 facilities, but all 5 facilities is credit card. As compared to another person have 5 facilities. 1 is house loan, 1 is car loan, 1 is personal loan, 2 is credit card. So for that kind of credit mix, it is better and easier for the bank to provide you with the loan. And then the final determining factors is the new credit. They will also see that those facility that is listed in your secrets, how many of it is considered as recently taken, as new as less than 6 months, or maybe just 6 months ago only. So these are the 5 factors that will consider what is your CITOS score. Okay. Other than CITOS, there are several companies that provide also this so-called credit report such as Credit Bureau, RAM Credit Information, or previously known as RAMSI, nowadays known as Experian You also have Basis, and you also have Dun and Bradstreet. These are the 4 others credit reporting agencies. Okay. So like what I have mentioned just now, borrowing is important. So actually there are 4 places where you can secure your borrowing. You can borrow from your licensed financial institution, which is your banks. And then you can also borrow from cooperative. Cooperative means in Malay called koperasi. And number 3, you can also borrow from licensed money lender. Normally, we do not encourage you to borrow from licensed money lenders because the rate is very much higher as compared to cooperative and also licensed financial institution. And the 4th place where you can get loan is unlicensed money lender. This is what we call as along. And we always like to remind everyone that do not take any loan from unlicensed money lender. Why do I say that? Because let's say, for example, normally there are people often say that credit card is a very expensive type of facilities. Normally for credit card, the bank is charging only 18% per annum. That means what? If 18% per annum means what? 1 month is only 1.5%, but for unlicensed money lender, they can actually charge you up to 20% per month. So you imagine, if you were to take loan with this so-called unlicensed money lender or along, what actually can happen to you? Actually, there is only 2 selections. One is either you abscond. Number 2 is either you commit suicide only. That's why you can see that a lot of people owing along, they cannot get out from this. They cannot get out from this along trap. So please remember, never borrow from along. So if let's say that one day, once you have graduated and you intend to take a loan from the banker, and you wish to know what is the rate offered by each one of the bank, actually you can go to our Bank Negara website, www.bnm.gov.my, for your complete reference of each one of the bank rates. Let's say, for example, you want to take a car loan. Okay, how much is the interest rate offered by public bank? How much offered by M Bank? How much offered by CIMB Bank? How much offered by Maybank? So you can actually choose the most package that is suitable to your financial condition. Okay? Remember that that email Okay. So one of the borrowing type which I believe that once you all have graduated is to buy a car, right? So I'm sure that before you buy a car, you're always dreaming about driving a fanciful car like Ferrari, Mercedes, like BMW. Okay? But all this car means what? All this car means very expensive, right? Or you can only actually afford this only. our locally made car, which is very much cheaper lah, compared to those super luxury car lah. So this is the formula that is being used by all the banks in Malaysia on how to calculate your so-called higher purchase loan. How much you need to pay, how long. Then this is the formula they use for it lah. I will not explain this due to time limitation. But the thing that I wish to let you all know is that if you were to buy a car, please always remember that it is not only the installment that you need to pay for it. There are many, many costs that is involved when you buy a car, such as your insurance, such as your road tax, such as your petrol, service and maintenance, parking tolls, and others. You see, the monthly installment is only 881 per month, but you actually need to spend 1,514 ringgit per month. If the budget you have is only 900 ringgit for the car, you can still buy the car. It's not that you cannot buy the car. But what actually happened is that after you have buy the car, you don't drive the car to work, you know. What you actually do, you park your car inside your house and then you tutup with a white cloth. Every Saturday and Sunday when you are not working, open the white cloth and then wax your car so that it looks like mirror, because your car cannot be used, because you cannot pay for all the other expenses. You can only pay for the car installment So the car is always in your house compound. You still need to use public bus to go to work. So that's why I said, when you want to own a car, make sure that you are able to pay not only your installment, but also your other relevant costs that is involved. Please remember that. Okay. In addition to buying a car, investment, I believe most of you are also very interested, right? But be very careful. The type of instrument that you wish to invest in depends very closely on your risk tolerance profile. Why do I say that? A risk tolerance profile? Because a certain person, when they invest and they lose the whole sum, I mean the capital, some of them cannot tahan now, they commit suicide. But some of them, even if you lose the whole capital, they can tahan. To them, no problem. They can always come back again. So before you choose your investment vehicles, always make sure you know your risk tolerance first. What type of people you are? Is it you are those high risk taker or low risk taker? And the next question that you should ask, why do we actually need to invest? Okay. Why do we actually need to invest? Number one is that we need to protect ourselves from inflation. So I'm sure that you all have heard of the term inflation, right? Inflation means that the price of things getting more and more expensive. It's very simple. Let's say, for example, you buy a nasi lemak. Let's say that when you are 5 years, when you are in your primary school, you buy a packet of nasi lemak as compared to now. Has the price gone up a lot? Definitely. Not only for nasi lemak, practically on everything. So one of the reason you do investment is to protect yourself from the inflation. And number two is that the reason you invest is to increase your income, because one day you might want to start a family, get married, start a family, buy a house, or buy a car, or may even want to do business. All this need money, and this money comes from where? Comes from your investment and your savings. And then number three, it is to achieve your life aspiration. Like for example, maybe you wish to further your studies after you have graduated. So that is your life aspiration, and the money from your investment and the money from your savings can be used to fulfill your life aspiration. Okay, these are the types of investment that is available in Malaysia. If you notice, there is always high return, and also there is also low return. If you notice, for conservative type of investment, in Malaysia, you have those like cash, savings in banks, you have fixed deposit, you have bonds. As for intermediate type of risk, you have unit trust, you have real estate, and then you have listed shares. And then for those aggressive type of investment, you have things such as trading in commodity, and then buying option, warrants, and also maybe in cryptocurrency, that kind of things. Okay, so normally, my advice, if you are the type who like to invest in aggressive types of investment, please be very careful, because you may lose your capital any minute if you make the wrong decision. And sometimes this decision is influenced by things that we are unable to control. So before you make any type of investment, except for those conservative types, do always read up on the matter. So if you want to read about investment, you can actually go to our Security Commission website to read up the thing, because there is a lot of information down there which provide you with a lot of advice on what are the things to invest. So please go to the Security Commission website to read on investment if you are actually very keen on investment. And one thing, always remember this, before you do any investment, it is pertinent for you to have an emergency fund. So what is this emergency fund used for? This emergency fund normally should be around 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses, because you will actually need this emergency fund when something that is unexpected or unanticipated happens, such as maybe you lose your job, or maybe there is a debt in a family where you need to take out money, you need to repair your car due to accident, or you need to do a minor operations, or there is a natural disaster where a flood or burn down your house and then you need the money to rebuild your house, that kind of things. You need to have your emergency fund first before you do any investment. And the reason is that if you do not have any emergency fund, you own and you invest all your money in this, you put all your money in your investment. So what actually happened if suddenly in need of money, you have no choice, you have to dispose of your investment. And bear in mind, if your investment is not very liquid one, it cannot be overnight turned into cash one. So at the time you need to borrow money from people. That is worse, I would say. So this is how you actually compute your emergency fund. You see that 1 month, how much do you actually spend? Let's say, for example, in this table, you spend around 3,003 for 1 month. So your emergency fund that you must have is actually 19,800 before you start to consider for investment. This is how you count for your emergency fund. That means your monthly expenses. But please beware. When you do investment, you must always think of financial scam. You see, the example that I have actually crafted, put in my slide here, is all on students, get cheated. All students get cheated. If you want to know more about this so-called financial scams, it's actually quite easy. You just go to the Google there, you put down financial scams in Malaysia, there will be plenty of stories regarding how students are cheated and how working adults are cheated as well. But it is good actually to know about these financial scams. And these are the few examples of financial scams that are currently in the market. One of it is a credit card or a debit scam, whereby a credit card or debit card owner receive a phone call saying that their card has been misused by someone in KLIA or in Singapore, and then they ask you to call up Bank Negara by them providing you a Bank Negara phone number. And then when you call up the Bank Negara, what actually happened is that the officer normally attached to this so-called bahagian card credit or bahagian card debit will ask you what do you want to report. Then they will take your information and then they will persuade you to actually transfer all your money in the saving accounts into a specifically purported claim that there is a special account in Bank Negara which can prevent your money from siphoned out. So the moment you transfer the money into that so-called Bank Negara safe protection money only, immediately your money will be taken off by the scammers. This is what we call as credit card or debit card scam lah. And then there is also online investment scam and also illegal deposit taking lah. Because actually financial scam, there is a lot different name and different modus operandi. So even as a student, I encourage you all to strongly know about this financial scam. Maybe I will just tell you about this so-called Mule account. Any one of you have heard of Mule account? Mule account, what actually happens is this so-called money launderer. So what happened is that they like to approach students, they approach students and then they will ask the student to borrow them their saving accounts, maybe by offering them 200 ringgit or 300 ringgit, saying that they cannot open the saving accounts, So once the student borrow the saving accounts to this so-called money launderer, what they will do is that they will cheat another person, to enter the money into the student saving accounts, and then these scammers will take out the money from the students. So eventually when the person whose money get cheated go and lodge a police report, the police will take the students saving accounts, and then they will check who is actually this account holder, and then this policeman will come to your house to arrest you for being part of the syndicate with this so-called money launderer. So be very careful. If any one of your friends, relative, or even a company asking you to borrow them your saving accounts and they are willing to pay money for it, be very careful. Do not even let them see your saving accounts, because what actually happened, the moment the person whose money gets cheated go and report to the police, the police will give instruction to all the banks in Malaysia saying that that particular student saving accounts will be blocked. And this blockage means what? That means you don't have saving accounts anymore. And these things, if you intend to go to another bank to open a saving account, the other bank will also reject your request to open a saving account. So be very careful. Don't get cheated. Because in my office itself, when during last time before COVID, almost practically every 2-3 days, there will be students coming in to report to us saying that their saving accounts cannot be used anymore, even though they don't have any loans. It's due to this so-called get cheated by the scammer and using their so-called saving accounts, which we term it as a mule account. And then for your information also, if someone come and approach you, ask you to invest in something, or you can, these are the 3 avenues for you to check. You can actually go to our Bank Negara Malaysia link to check up which of the company is listed as Scheme Cepat Kaya. Actually, we have a list down there, I think around 200 over company. You can also check with KPD and KK, and you can also check with Securities Commission. Okay? Because all those cheat cases, for those scammers, they are actually recorded. They are actually recorded and put in the respective organization website. You can actually check lah. Okay, now let us talk about debt management. Since everyone agrees that borrowing is very important, then debt management is also very important, because you will only incur debts if you take loans from the bank, right? Or even loans from the cooperative or a licensed money lender. So these are why managing your debt wisely is very important, because actually by managing your debts wisely, you are able to improve your cash flow management. Number 2, you are able to reduce your borrowing costs. What do I actually meant by that? When I say that you are able to reduce your borrowing costs, it means that if compare yourself with another friend who are in the same who are in the same profession, earning a same level of salary, but his repayment track record with the bank is not so well as compared to you. So when both of you go to the bank to borrow the same amount of money, the same bank, most probably you will enjoy a lower borrowing cost. That means the bank will charge you a lower interest. Why? Because they will term you as having a lower risk due to your good payment track record. And then number 3, if you manage your debt wisely, it also enhances your credit standing. Once your credit standing is enhanced, it means what? Easy for you to get fresh loan as compared to your other friends who have maybe payment track record which is not so well. On top of it, by managing your debt wisely, you are able to save yourself from late payment and also penalty charges. And also you are able to avoid harassment by the bank and also by legal action taken by the bank. On top of it, by having a good financial management skill, you are able to strengthen your relationship with your family and friends as well. It's very simple only. Let's say, for example, you have two friends, friend number A and friend number B. If your friend number A, whenever they meet you, they will belanja you lah, whether for eating or treating you to a cinema or treating you to karaoke. Then you have another friend, friend B. Whenever this friend B come and sees you, the only thing he wants or she wants is to borrow money from you. And even when he or she borrow money from you, then it takes him a very long time to pay you back, and you have to chase for it. So imagine if from far away you see friend B is coming to see you, and you are staying in a hostel. I can tell you immediately, you will lock up your door, and then you will close up all your light and close up all your window so that you can avoid meeting your friend B. Why? You want to avoid him borrowing money from you again. That's why I say that managing debt wisely will be able to strengthen your relationship with your family and friends. And these are the cause of indebtedness. That means the reason that cause a person to have debts is always, number one, your lifestyle, which everything want to buy branded. Number two, unawareness. Unawareness means what, Let's say, for example, do investment, but do not have sufficient knowledge. So invest, all the capital is lost. Number three, greed. Greed is normally get easily cheated by those scheme cepat kaya. And number four is circumstance. Circumstance means like suddenly you lose your job, or maybe unable to work due to critical illness, that kind of things. If you happen to notice, out of four factors for the cause of indebtedness, three factors you can consider, three factors you can control, which are your lifestyle, your unawareness, and your greed. Only circumstances you cannot control. So in short, we can deduce that 75% of your indebtedness is caused by yourself. So whether you want to be in debt or not depends solely on yourself and not anybody else. Okay. So actually, maybe you will be asking the question, what actually happens if I borrow from the bank, I cannot pay it? I borrow from the bank and I cannot pay it. So what actually happens? So if you borrow from the bank and you cannot pay, normally what the bank will do is that a bank will take their recovery action. Okay? Let's say, for example, let me give you an explanation on this. Because to me, before you take any loan, you need to understand first, what are the things that the bank can do to me if I don't pay promptly, or if I don't pay according to the schedule. The first thing is that if you're owing 1 month, the bank will send you reminders. Whether they send you through written notice, or they send you through phone calls, by SMS or by WhatsApp. They will always put down there, Mr. Cheong, your credit card facility with so-and-so bank is due by this Friday. Please pay up how much. They will tell you that. So if you're owing the bank second month, what will happen is that you will receive phone calls from the so-called bank official. They will ask you to pay. Then when you owe for 3 months, what actually happens is that some of the bank, what they will do is that they will engage third-party collector. This third-party collector is what we call as collection agency. And what they do is that they will normally use two types of method to actually collect back the debts for the bank. One is that they will threaten you. They will threaten you means what? They will call you up almost every day, and sometimes one day they will call you 3-4 times. They will tell you that if you don't pay, I will blacklist you, I will bankrupt you, I will come to your house, take the photograph, or I will come to your house, lock up your door so that you don't have access to your property. These kind of things. This is what we call as coerce or threatening. Then the second tactic that is used by the collection agency, what they will do is that they will try to embarrass you. They will try to embarrass you means what? They will come to your house and then they will talk to your family members, whether your wife, your father, your mother, your uncle, your grandmother. Then they will tell them that they are representing so-and-so bank and you are owing them so-and-so for that, what kind of facilities. If you're thinking that by them telling your family member is okay, don't be shocked when I tell you, the next thing they will do is that they will inform your neighbors. And just think of what will happen if you are staying in apartments or you're staying in flat. If they were to tell your surrounding neighbors that you are owing so and so bank, what happened? Because I still remember there's one customer of mine informed me that when he comes back from work, when he's pressing the lift button to go up to his unit, he overheard a neighbor of him, a neighbor of him whispering at the back, this is Mr. Cheong, he's owing so and so bank. So you just imagine that. Do you feel embarrassed if your neighbor were to say this behind your back? So this is the strategy used by the bank, used by the so-called third-party collectors. So after the account is owing in 4 months, what the bank will do is that they will use this legal notice, notice of demand, and then they give you 14 days to pay up. So if you don't pay up, they will summons you to court, and then during the mentioned date, they will obtain judgment. And once they obtain judgment, they have 4 ways to actually force you to pay. One is writ of seizure and sale, which is they take a court order, go to your house, seize your things, and then lay long your things in front of your house. Then number 2 is that they can also apply for judgment debtor summons against you, which means what, they will actually get a court order to compel you to go to court and then to talk to the magistrate. And if you fail to turn up, they can actually ask the magistrate to issue a warrant of arrest to catch you and put you in the court jail. Then number 3 is garnishee order. Means what? Garnishee order means that the bank can actually serve a court order to the bank which you have money kept in it. And this money you will not be able to withdraw. And this money will be used to pay for your debts with another bank. This is garnishee order. And the 4th type is bankruptcy. I think bankruptcy, most of you all know lah. But currently, for a person to be adjudged a bankrupt, his or her amount owing to that particular facility with the bank should be 100,000 and above. Because previously is 50,000, and then before that is 30,000, and earlier in the 90s it's only 10,000. Then you can get bankrupt. But nowadays is around 100,000. Then only you can get bankrupt. Okay, so don't be surprised when I show you this bankruptcy by age, because this figure is actually, we get it from our bankruptcy department, or nowadays we call it as Jabatan Insolvency Malaysia. So if you happen to notice, if you see the bankruptcy by age, normally when a person at the range of 35 to 44 years, this is a range whereby the person is already buy a house, buy a car, started a family, have children. Normally, that is the category of age that is most in terms of get sued bankrupt. And let me just show you. This is the cause of bankrupt. If you notice, this information also I get from the Jabatan Insolvency Malaysia. If you happen to notice, the main contribution of bankruptcy in Malaysia is caused by personal loan. That means the person take the personal loan, unable to pay, get sued by the bank, and then he is adjudged a bankrupt. That means it contributes 32%. And then number 2 is, what's the reason? You know what's the reason the personal loan and the hire purchase or the car loan has the highest contribution to bankruptcy? Both of these facilities use the same calculation, when the loan is loaned out to people. That means the interest rate is very high. Like for example, for car. For car, normally, most of you will know that car is actually a depreciating asset, right? So if it's a depreciating asset, and there is always a tendency of people to get a 9-year loan. To get a 9-year loan means that they take a long period of loan. So every day the car depreciate. So if let's say that should there be one day the borrower unable to pay for the car installment after owing for 3 months, what the bank will do is that the bank will repossess the car. Once the bank repossess the car, they will give the 21-day option to the borrower to take back the car by paying all the arrears. So if after 21 days cannot pay the arrears, what the bank will do is that they will auction off the car. So the term that I'm using is auction. Auction means what? They are selling below the market price, and normally as compared to market price for cars sold by used car, auction price normally is lesser by 20%. So you just imagine that. Number 1, you take a high loan. Number 2, the interest rate. Number 1 is you take a big margin of loan. Okay, maybe you take 90% loan. Number 2, high interest rate. Number 3, car is a depreciating asset. Number 4, once the bank repossess and sell the car by auction, so what happened is the remaining balance is very high. So when the remaining balance is very high, on top of it, the bank will still charge you late charges of 8% per annum. So what happened? After your car has been auctioned off, and then it takes the bank another 2-3 years, your amount will reach 100,000, and that is the time you will get the title of YB lah. And this YB is not yang berhormat. This YB is yang bankrupt for your information. So if you intend to take personal loan or car loan, be very, very careful. Make sure that it is within your means. Everybody would like to, I can assure you that everybody would like to drive a Ferrari, a Merc, a BMW, or even a Lamborghini. But how many people actually can own it? Okay. Just now, you remember I told you the debt-income ratio? If you notice, the debt-income ratio that I mentioned just now must not exceed 40%. If your debt-income ratio is more than 60%, which is 61% and above, then you need to acknowledge this so-called 4A. What is actually this 4A all about? This is the 4A by AKPK. Number 1, that is to admit that you have an uncontrollable debt problem. Okay, that means you need to face the reality lah. Number 2, you need to actually analyze your financial position. That means you need to talk with your family members that you're having this problem, so let them know everything. And number 3, you need to act. You need to act means what? You need to take corrective action. Because I notice a lot of people, they only have 2A, which is to admit and to analyze, but they do not act. Do not act means what? They do not take corrective action. So if you do not take corrective action, your problem cannot be solved, right? If your problem cannot be solved, it means what? It will get bigger and bigger. Okay? So if, let's say, you're willing to go up to stage number 3, act, and still your bank are unable to help you to restructure your borrowings. So what you should actually do, you should come to see AKPK. Because AKPK is your financial friend. Okay. So this is the few concluding slides. Which type of life do you want? Do you want a moderate life but a peaceful life without debts? Or do you want the type of rich life with plenty of debts and are miserable? So the choice is at your hand. You will have to choose. You want a peaceful life or a miserable life? And always remember, it is not about how much we get, it is how much we manage. This is what I have stated during the front few pages of my slide, where I tell you is that it is not your income that determines whether you will be in debts or not. It is actually how you manage your expenses that will determine whether you are in indebtedness or not. Okay, this is my last slides. I need your cooperation to scan this QR code and then provide me provide feedback to us. Okay, and the event number for this talk is 09503. So the first question after you have scanned the QR code, this is the first question that they will need you to input the event number 09503. And for those of you who have questions, maybe we can get your committee to read out the question to me, since I'm not able to see your question, and I will leave this page open so that y'all can scan the QR code and then provide me with your feedback.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cheong. So let's start our Q&A section. So first question. How do I able to track my income and expenses in an easy way?
How do you want to track your income or expenses in an easy way? Depends on whether you want to use an app. Because if you want to use those software like Excel, then it will be very troublesome lah. If you want the traditional method, I would suggest you to use the buku 35. Very simple ni. Because let's say for example just put in your pocket together with a pen only. Whenever you spend money, just jot down. It's quite easy.
I see.
I mean, you can use your apps, but what happens if that particular area you go there no lines. Then you cannot key in also, right? If you ill spend and the 3-5 books, buku 35, very easy, just straight away, right? Whether got electricity, no electricity, you also can still write.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that answer the
Second
question?
question. What is
Yeah.
the action take from AKPK if we didn't pay the loan?
What is the action take by AKPK? Normally, for AKPK, we are actually a middle person between the borrower and also between the bank. What we actually do is that we help the borrower to pay back the lesser sum every month by getting the bank to prolong the repayment period, and at the same time by asking the bank to charge a lower interest rate. Let's say, for example, the person have already made a mistake, use a lot of credit card, and credit card, normally the interest rate is very high, up to 18%.
Yes.
So when you actually come for AKPK to enroll for the debt management program, we can actually ask the bank to allow you to stretch the repayment period up to 10 years. And at the same time, we compel the bank not to charge interest more than 9% per annum, because the original rate is 18%. So if let's say that the person were to restructure their credit card facility for 10 years, and originally, let's say that their monthly payment 1 month, they need to pay 600. Once they have already done under AKPK for 10 years, the monthly payment may go down as low as 200 plus only. So there is a very big savings down there. And normally for AKPK, we don't take action one, because you have to remember, when you enroll for this debt management program, the money owing is not owing to AKPK, it's still owing to the bank. So what happened if, let's say that the person enrolls for the program, did not pay it according to the schedule, then the bank will normally ask AKPK to stop that person's program. Then the bank will take action back against their customer.
All right, I see. So the question, to get
That is
a loan,
Yeah.
some might say that you are too clean, which means no debt. Is it hard to get loan at these cases?
Okay, to answer these questions, normally when a person just graduated, maybe started working for 6 months already, then he or she decided to take a car loan. Okay, so when you actually take a car loan, is considered to be a big ticket item purchase. So if you do not have any record in your secrets, you just go to the bank saying that you want to take a car loan, most probably what will happen is that the bank will reject your loan application. Why? Because the bank do not have anything to evaluate you on, That means you don't have any track record, but right? So they cannot evaluate you. So in this case, normally what we will do is that if your secrets do not have any track record, what you should do is that you should actually open up a so-called credit card facility, and make sure your credit card facility is not with a very high credit limit. Then you use the card for maybe 6 months. After you have used the card for 6 months, and then you make sure that your payment every month is prompt. So your secrets will appear as 00000. Then only you submit for a car loan. Then by that, the bank, when they open up your secrets, then they're able to see that you have one credit card, and then all your track record is 000. That means what? You are a good paymaster. Then in doing that, they will also consider that the level of income you're earning and the amount that you intend to borrow from them for that particular car, and most probably they will approve the loan, because you have good track record.
All right.
Because
Okay, next
sometimes I can tell you it is not too good to have totally no loan, Also not good.
All right, next question. What is about Forex, sir?
Okay.
Forex is under what category?
Forex is actually, you can consider as aggressive type of investment, I can tell you. Forex is very, how I would deem as investment in Forex is considered to be quite risky. Unless you have extra money. Even you have extra money, you don't put all your money in, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe for if let's say that you want to have a balanced portfolio, you can actually combine 3 types of risk. One is the conservative, one is moderate, and one is the aggressive one. And then for the aggressive, if you are young, maybe you can put up to 30% of your fund you have lah. But if let's say that you are older already, normally you only put around 10% for your aggressive investment.
Oh, I see. All right. So next, how to prevent the wrong investment?
How to prevent the wrong investment? The correct answer is that you must actually know that what you invest in, because a lot of people don't actually understand what they invest in. They just heard that their friends or what get so and so much of return from that investment. Then they just taruh only. They never even bother to study. You still remember last time in Penang itself, I think it's last 2 years. Last time they have those investment by JJPTR, and eventually it turns out to be Scheme Cepat Kaya.
Yeah.
At that time, I can tell you, not only students, at that time, even those educated people, even bankers, even engineers, even accountants, those people who are very good in calculation, but due to the fact that they are blinded by greed, they invest the money in, we did even without thinking the basis of their investment. Because they are saying that their friends, their relatives are getting so great return back, so they also kiasu and don't want to lose out, they also dump in the money. Then at the end, habis. So that's why I said, if you want to prevent the wrong investment, make sure that the things or the investment vehicles that you intend to invest in, you are very well versed in it. You make a lot of study in it, and if possible, talk to a person who are very well versed in it. You can actually find a so-called financial planner to talk with them, actually to discuss with them on this particular mode of investment. Then they will be able to give you a better view. But you yourself should not also be lazy. You should also learn more about that subject before you start to dump your money into that investment. Because normally, like those professionals, they are in charge of a lot of clients. They might not have enough time to study your investment in details for you. Always remember that. Depends on yourself rather than depends on someone else. If you just ask for simple opinion, they may able to give you. But if you ask for a specific one, I'm afraid that they might not have enough time for you to actually study the thing empirically so that they can give you the best opinion.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. The next question. What's the worst investment?
What is the worst investment? Actually, there is no worst investment one. What to me, actually the worst investment is what the financial scam. The financial scam. Because initially, you will earn money. I can tell you. For financial scam, initially you will earn money. Because what they actually do is that, let's say you are investor A. They will take investor B money to pay to you as investor A. And then they will take money from investor C to pay for investor B. And then investor D for investor C. So eventually when they run out of investor, it means what? Satu kali they take the money, they disappear. I would say the worst investment is Scheme Cepat Kaya . But normally it's quite hard to identify this so-called Scheme Cepat Kaya, because they don't print the word of financial scammers on their forehead saying that I'm a scammer. Definitely they don't do that . But if someone were to approach you, or some company were to approach you, and then they were to tell you saying that their investment have very high return within a very short period of time with no risk, and then you are required to sign in immediately or you lose your chances, very likely that type of investment is a Scheme Cepat Kaya. I can tell you that. This is the characteristic of the so-called Scheme Cepat Kaya .
Okay. Okay, next. What's your opinion about what's your opinion about race? If I not pronounce
race,
wrong,
I'm not very familiar. I know. Even there's a friend of mine playing in race, but I'm not really very sure on this one. Better check it out first. Better check it out. This one, because I've seen before, but I never really read on that the online investment. They get in US dollar one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, US dollar.
Okay. Next.
Okay. So if there any other questions?
Okay. Effect when we declare bankrupt. Okay. Normally, what actually happens? When the bank declare a person bankrupt, there are several effects. Among the effects, number one is that a person is not will be blacklisted by Jabatan Immigration Malaysia. It means that he or she will not be able to leave the shore of Malaysia lah. Number two is that if a person is a company director, okay, if a person is a company director, if he's sold bankrupt, he cannot be a company director anymore. And if a person is a professional, like holding a practicing license like doctor, lawyer, accountant, architect, if you are declared bankrupt, automatically your practicing license cannot be renewed. So if your practicing license cannot be renewed, it means that you are not able to work in that profession. And number four, normally for government servant, especially in the disciplinary area like army, police, if they were to be declared bankrupt, then they can be sacked from their work. And for those pensioner, government pensioner, if they are bankrupt, their pension will be stopped by the government of Malaysia. And then number five is that normally for a bankrupt, what happened is that all their saving accounts will be closed. That means, in short, they are not allowed to open any saving accounts. Their existing open saving accounts will be closed and their money will be freezed. And then for a bankrupt also, he or she is not eligible to work for his wife or husband's company. They are not allowed to work for the wife and husband company. And if let's say that they intend to borrow money from anyone, if the borrow amount is more than 1,000, they are required to inform the lender or the so-called creditors that they are bankrupt. So these are among some of the effects. If let's say that the person is declared a bankrupt, effect of bankruptcy lah. Normally we would advise don't go to this stage because normally for bankruptcy action there are two types. One type is sued by the bank if the amount owing to a particular facility is 100,000 and above. Another effect is that self surrender bankruptcy. That means that he is owing a certain amount of money, unable to pay anymore. He can actually go to Jabatan Insolvency Malaysia, whose office is located at level 9 of Bangunan Persekutuan, Anson Road, to declare that he wants to be adjudged a bankrupt. Then they will arrange a date for him to go to see the judge and then declare a bankrupt. So actually there are two ways for a person to be declared bankrupt lah. Okay, any more question?
Okay, I think this is the last one since we don't have much time and we still have the Kahoot game section. So
Okay.
if you have any question, you can email your question to Mr. Cheong mailbox.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Cheong, answering for this question.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
so next we were going to play the Kahoot games. Okay, guys, as you can see on the screen, there will be a game pin. So we only give 5 minutes to let you guys join the Kahoot game, and after 5 minutes, we will start the game. So you can log into the Kahoot website and key in the game pin shown on the screen. Then after that, kindly key in your real name, same as register form, because we need the real name to contact the person who win in the game. So we will start our game at 3:55 or 56, 3:56. So if you have problem to join the Kahoot, please write in the comment and let us know. And also for those name is not in the register form, you also can join for fun for our Kahoot games. Okay, so there will be 10 questions, and top 10 winners will win the gift for those already registered in the form. So there are 10 questions, have few, I think 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds to 20 seconds to answer the question. So there were 4 minutes left to join our Kahoot. Three more minutes. And also during the Kahoot, you also can fill up our feedback form while waiting for the game start. For this Kahoot, we will display the question on the screen, and for your phone or your laptop website, it will show the answer to let you choose. So this depends on the time. You need to answer more fast and the correct answer. The faster you answer, the higher score you get. Okay, there's 1 more minute to join the Kahoot. Let's go, let's go. 1 more minute, 1 more minute. Come join, come join. Okay, so if you guys ready, then let's start the game. So let's see. No, I mean, it's on the first place. Oh, Shavin is second place. Just close, very close. 10 point. Okay, let's see the place. Oh, Nicki Minaj is on the first place. Oh, here's the double point. Oh, no, I mean, was back on the first place. The second place is Jason. Wow. Must have 3 strike on it. Five people correct. Oh, no, I mean, still on the first place. 4 players lost the answer strike of 3. Oh, fifth question. Oh, 13 people answer correct. No, I mean, was still the first place. Okay. Sixth question. Oh, it's double point. Three people answer correct. Let's see the place. Oh, Boganes is on the first place now. Sixteen people answer correct. 2 people answer wrong. Let's see. Boganes has a streak with 7 correct answers in a row. Wow. No, I mean was second place. Come on, come on. Sorry, DC right now. I feel sorry. So Boganes is still on the first place. Okay, next question. Oh, it's double point. Four people correct. Oh, Boganes was still on the first place. No, I mean was second. Third is Moges Rashri. So final question. So let's see who will be our top 10 winners. 17 people correct. Okay, let's see who will be our top 10. The third place, Mugesh. Second place, No Amin. The first place is Boganis. Congratulations. So here is our top 10. Yeah. So for these top 10 winners, we will record your name and send out the gift to you through email by today or tomorrow. Yeah, for the top 10. Okay, guys, so that's all for our webinar today. Thank you, Mr. Cheong, for sharing with us the knowledge and experience so much today. And thank you for spending time with us. Yes, Mr. Cheong, anything else to talk to viewer?
Okay, for those of you who have questions, didn't manage to ask, no problem. You can actually email to me. My email address is pkcheong@akpk.org.my. Everybody, please stay safe. COVID in Penang is still have high numbers. Thank you.
Yeah.
And again, hope that Segi College will invite us again in the future. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cheong. Hope you stay safe too.
You're welcome.
Okay, so and also thank you guys and congratulations to the winners. If you haven't received the gift, you can contact us so that we can check and send out the gift to you. Yeah, the contact number is in the comment section below. You can contact us. So once again, thank you everyone for joining with us and hope you guys are doing well and stay home, stay safe. Bye bye.